Best Home Inspections coming at you live, hard hitting and in your face. Inspecting the 806.
All right, so I get asked lots of questions on houses when I'm looking at them. Most common problems that I find are usually plumbing related. So I got my good buddy Aaron Gonzalez with Dependable Plumbing here, and just wanted to visit with him a little bit, and we can kind of talk about how some water heaters should be set up, and talk about just some common issues that I find whenever we're looking at a house. So can you tell us a little bit, Aaron, about what the combustion air purpose serves? Because I know back in the day you used to be able to put a water heater anywhere in the house you wanted to.
Right.
But now you can only put it in certain parts of the house, and the combustion air has to come from the attic.
That's correct. So the new water heaters now, the combustion air chamber is sealed and it pulls air from the side. So like any gas-fired appliance, you have to have a fresh air supply to it in order for the fire to burn properly. Okay, this water heater here is a Bradford White. This one's a 40-gallon natural gas. Here you can see where we have a sight glass with a sealed combustion chamber. It goes up to this Honeywell electronic valve. On the entrance side of this valve, we have this sediment trap. The sediment traps are pretty nice, especially if you have expensive valves. What they do is they keep a lot of the trash and moisture down in this portion of the gas, this gas column right here. Also, important thing to note is you have these stainless steel flexes. You always want to have safety in mind first to make sure that your gas supply to it is done properly. You also want to have a quarter turn gas stop here at the water heater. A lot of them are flathead gas stops. You can use flathead, but you often need a tool to operate those. So if you ever need to shut it down in an emergency or anything, it can be hard and could pose a threat to somebody or with injury if you had an emergency to shut down. Up here we have a TMP, temperature pressure relief valve. From that you can see that we have CPVC, which is rated for hot water. This is a 3/4 inch pipe here, which is the same diameter of the exit part of the TMP. It's always important to keep, not to reduce pipe size, and to keep the diameter the same. We come up here at the top, we have some copper flexes up here, 3/4, 24. I have a ball valve on the cold side, the entrance of the water heater. Always important to have a shut off there where if there is any problems you can shut off, and always maintain and work on your heater. Over here on this side we have a combustion air coming down to feed this fresh air supply to the bottom of this vent. Like any gas fired appliance, you have to have a fresh air supply in order for it to burn properly. All right, we got a York unit here. First we're going to look at the gas supply. Again, we have a readily accessible 1/2-inch gas stop, and by readily accessible I mean we can operate it by hand and not with a wrench like what would a flathead gas stop you'd have to do. Here we have the sediment trap. Again, this sediment trap's designed to keep stuff, trash, moisture out of the valve, prolong the life of the valve, make it run more efficient. We've got some type B gas pipe here. Again, we've talked about it on, you want to keep combustibles away from it as far as you possibly can, but this pipe is rated where you can have it within a few inches in comparison to like single wall vent pipe.
So one of the things too that I find lots of times are slow drains, whether it's a shower pan that's not draining very well, and especially bathroom sinks that are draining slow. So it's pretty obvious, that's usually hair in the drain, and then people shaving and whiskers in the sink, and all that stuff leads to a problem. So there's lots of products on the market and different methods, and I know there's lots of different opinions about what you should or should not pour down a drain, but what's your thoughts on all that?
In particular, when it comes to hair, hair is one of the hardest things to break down with a chemical. I always recommend if you even suppose it's a hair stopper, just cable it out, clean it out, take a trap apart, dig it out of the bathtub, however you need to do it. If you can physically remove it, is the best way with hair. Now, when you get into like the kitchen sinks and you have disposals and you have food that go down and you get this bacterial growth in the sinks, this bacteria multiplies and it chokes down, and that's what slows down the flow of these drains. A lot of times just using bleach. Bleach is really good. Now they do have liquid plumber and other stuff, and I'm not knocking any of that, but it's okay. It works in some instances, but you can also move into some of the industrial stuff where you start to get into some muriatic or sulfuric acids. The thing with muriatic or sulfuric acids, or just acids in general, is you have to really pay attention to what material you're putting it down. If it's cast iron, which I don't recommend, you have to neutralize well and flush out, but the acid, it'll eat all the matter up, but it will also eat your pipes. So very critical that it's done properly. The best thing to do is just follow the directions.
So are any of those chemicals, does any of that, is it harmful on PVC pipe nowadays?
Plastics are pretty chemical resistant, so I haven't personally seen anything to remark on that it's damaged on PVC. But again, I always recommend if you can physically get it out with a cable is the best way to go. Some cases you may need to use chemicals, but definitely read the directions on the back and pay attention to what material you're putting it down. All
right, so here we are talking about plumbing today. Got Aaron Gonzalez from Dependable Plumbing here in Amarillo, Texas. I've known Aaron for a very long time. He's a man of his word, and these guys take care of business all the time. So whenever people ask me who do I recommend, Aaron's always the first plumber I recommend. So hey, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Sharing your wisdom with us.
Absolutely.
All right, Best Home Inspections coming at you live, hard hitting and in your face. Inspecting the 806.
Where the mind goes, energy flows.